Maria McDonald with Dynamic Benchmarking, and we are so excited that you have decided to join us for our launch party for the new member engagement study. For the last year, it seems like Amanda and I have been getting asked, when are you going to launch the new member engagement study again? We really need updated data from that. So as you all know, we did that back in the spring, and we now have the report ready. So we are super excited that you all have joined us for this launch party. My partner on the project, Amanda, is going to take us through what we learned during that study. We did have over 300 participants that conducted the survey and that we got results from. So we have lots of insightful data to share back with you today. Amanda is the member engagement strategist and author of a new book that's coming out at the beginning of the year. We're super excited for her on that, called Elevating Engagement: Uncommon Strategies for Creating a Thriving Member Community, which we'll be publishing early next year in February. So stay tuned for more details on that. I know you all will want to get a copy of that when it comes out. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the insights that we learned, and I'm going to turn it over to Amanda. Please help me welcome Amanda.
Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining Maria and me today. And I would like to start off with a question for you. And I love your guesstimate in the chat. And I say guesstimate because, to my knowledge, there is absolutely no scientifically proven answer. So I think we're all guessing here, and so just give me your best guess. So the question is, after a new member presses join, so they fill out all of their member information and they press join, how long in minutes do you think it takes them to make the decision to join, to engage? Let me say that again. I'm getting tongue-tied already, and I'm so early into this. After your new member presses join, how long in minutes do you think it takes them to start to make the decision to engage in the association? Again, just type in a number. Nobody can be wrong here because we're all just guessing. So what do you think? I'm gonna quickly scroll up and down and see what you said. Ariana says 3, Robin says 2, Peggy says 1 minute, 1 minute. 2. Alan says something I almost can't even say, 0.000001. So that's, I don't know, what is that, a billionth of a minute? I'm not quite sure. 1 immediately, 1 30 seconds, 5. Okay, I think you've got some good stuff here. We've got some good participation. So why don't you all just take a second and scroll up and down that list of numbers? And I don't want you to do exact math, but let's do some mental math. And I want you to guess at what that average is when you look at everybody's numbers. And I think, Alan's going to throw it off in the very, very small bit. And then we've got, some people that are thinking, maybe it's an hour. I'm not sure. And so where do you think we are? Fast equals average. Yeah. So where do you think we are in terms of an average number? Here, what is the average time it takes a new members to make that decision to engage after they press join? And again, I am not expecting a mathematically accurate answer. You don't have to get out your calculator here, but just a quick guess this time is totally fine. So we've got, let's see, the average might be 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Ariana says, Alan, you're messing up the data set again. Average 3 minutes, 1 minute, 1.5 minutes. And Tim, says about a quarter of a minute or so. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think you're all right. I mean, where are we? We're in immediately to, maybe 3-ish minutes or so. So the decision to engage happens relatively quickly after the decision to join. And many new members do make that decision to engage, but also many don't. When I was the director of marketing for a national association, I noticed that there was always a group of members that joined, and then they never did another thing. It just boggled my mind. It turns out that I'm not alone. This phenomenon is really common in associations because 71% of our respondents said that what worries them most about new members is the number of new members joining and then never using their benefits. So let's dive into why this subsegment of new members joins and then doesn't do another thing. Because I think if we know why that is, why they join and then don't do anything else, that question might help us with our overall onboarding efforts. So we're going to now try a technology that I'm somewhat new to. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. I've got a backup plan, but I think it's going to work. I think it'll be kind of fun. So I'm dropping a link in the chat right now. And what I want you to do is I want you to hit that link. You should be seeing a slide that says, why don't some new members engage? And you're already getting in there. Perfect. I love this. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about why new members don't engage from the new member perspective. I want you to type your words into the spaces provided. And as you're seeing, this word cloud is going to start to appear. And if you have more than 3 ideas, I believe you can hit submit and then just keep on submitting ideas. And while you're thinking and writing, I'm going to give you some more prompts. So what is going, and actually, if anybody's having problems with the technology, just drop a note into the chat so I can see that. But let's go to some prompts. So, what is happening? What is going on in their lives or their work lives that might prevent them from engaging? Is there anything that could have happened while they're joining to prevent them from engaging? Or are there any other scenarios going on for them that might prevent them from engaging? And then somebody wrote in the chat they were signed up by somebody else. Yes, that's a good one. If for some reason Mentimeter is not working for you, you can always drop ideas into the chat for sure. All right, so let's dive into what you're saying. Oh, Peggy says happens to us for sure. They thought it was one thing, but it turned out they thought that membership or the association was one thing, and it turned out to be another. So I'm gonna look at, Kate says we don't make it easy enough. Let's see, I'm gonna read some of the biggest ones that I'm seeing right here in the Mentimeter. So busy, apathy, time, fear, overwhelmed, lack of knowledge, nervous, confusion, don't know how, not sure where to start, and really confused. I think that these are really, really interesting. And what you might want to do is you might want to grab a screenshot of this word cloud, because we can take these reasons for why new members don't engage and reverse engineer them to help members engage. So I'm going to dive into one of the biggest elements right now, and that is busy. Our new members are extremely busy. You all know it. You bubbled it up in that word cloud. I absolutely agree with you. In fact, there's so many good words in the word cloud that I think it gives us a lot of fodder here, but I'm going to focus on busy. So professionals are busy today, and we don't have long to get their attention before they start ignoring us. Now, because we don't have a lot of time to engage new members, we've got to reach them super quickly, which means really advanced planning is critical. And I think that this is one reason why so many associations see an increase in retention once they implement their onboarding program. New member engagement plans help associations reach those new members during an open window of opportunity when new members are the most receptive to engaging. Now, this is really interesting. A new member joins their association, and then they give us this open window of opportunity to start engaging with them. Let me show you a little bit about why that is. So I'm talking about email, actually. So in the survey, we asked about open rates, and I understand that there's some challenges with relying on open rate data, but these stats are directionally very telling. The open rate for all members, which is the small orange line, is quite a bit smaller than the open rate for new members, which is the taller purple line. So you can see that actually, this kind of says a lot about the functionality of email or what's happening with a lot of email. New members, very, very receptive to email. All members, not as receptive to email. So there's something going on when new members are first coming in that either excites them about your email or maybe it turns them off. So new members want to know about the organization and the community they just joined. So they're really receptive to email. And I'm super excited because we've got some very special guests here today to dive more into onboarding emails. I'm going to introduce them roughly a little more than halfway through our hour together today, so you can chat with them about their program. But we got good stuff to dive into before we get to those deep dives. Let me show you where I'm getting all of this data from. If you have not downloaded the report yet, you can go ahead and grab the new member engagement study report, which is where I'm reporting all of this data from, either from Dynamic Benchmarking site or my site. And I just dropped those links for you in the chat. Now, there are a million reasons to onboard, orient, and welcome new members because these strategies foster belonging, connection, and all sorts of really positive feelings. But there's also dollars and cents reasons too. Orientation programs improve retention. Oh, and by the way, they're also pretty inexpensive. So you're getting a lot of ROI, a lot of bang for your buck. Engaged members attend, buy, they contribute more, and there's a lot more benefits that you'll get when you start a new member onboarding program as well. So onboarding programs can help you with member insights. In fact, 62% of our respondents said that their program gives them feedback about why members join. And this program can also do things like help you keep your data clean, aid you in sourcing speakers, contributors, volunteers, and there's just tons and tons of reasons to implement or improve your onboarding program. Now, I thought that it might be kind of interesting and helpful to sum up each section of my mini keynote by dropping kind of a sum up little statement into the chat. In case you decide to download the chat, you're going to have all of these key insights right at your fingertips to refer to a week from now, a month from now, a year from now. So to quickly sum up, use onboarding strategies to start to foster feelings of engagement during this very brief open window of opportunity that new members give us just after they join. And successful onboarding programs return a ton of benefits to associations. Now, next, we're going to slide into program mechanics. But before we do, I would like for us to start with a foundational question that will help us improve every new member's experience. So I'm going to drop that question in the chat, and I would love for you to answer in the chat. How would you like, when new members join, how would you like them to feel? So I want you to think about the emotions that your newest members might feel about the association, about the community they just joined, about their decision to join. So again, when a new member hits join, click, how would you like them to feel? So I'm going to kind of look through here and sort of sum up what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of people saying welcomed, excited, motivated, connected, accepted. Oh, I love Peggy said loved. Yes. Excited, sense of belonging, seen and understood, validated, connected. Now, what you might want to do is you might want to grab a piece of paper, marker, pen, pencil, and write down, say, 3 of the words in this list. You can take that little scroll bar on the side, scroll up and down the chat, and grab 3 words that are really meaningful for you and you think will be really meaningful for your members. What do you think in terms of the emotions that you want your newest members to feel? What do you think? Or phrases. Taylor said, like they are part of a family. I love that. One of the things that I used to hear a lot when I did custom research for associations was really engaged members would say, this is my professional family, or this is my intellectual home. So when you've got your 2, 3 words written down or phrases written down, you can, I'd like for you to consider them to be your North Star. And so when you're getting ready to create a new member engagement program or change a new member engagement program, refer to your 2 or 3 words and allow them to guide your decisions as you implement strategies and tactics. And what you might find is you create a warmer, more welcoming onboarding experience for your members. So what else contributes to onboarding success? I'm going to jump back into the data here because we found 3 strategies in the study that contribute to more new members being retained. The first strategy is to to revise often. So 20% of our respondents revise their program twice a year. Another 6% tinker in their program all the time. So we've got 26% of our respondents that are kind of in the sweet spot. Now, most people, or I should say most associations, update their program once a year or every other year, or they set it and forget it, meaning they develop a program, they send it out there and they don't look at it again. And this doesn't work well, and it does not correlate to good results because new members sense that the material is getting stale. So revising twice or more a year is correlated to higher new member renewal rates. The second key to success is diversifying your tactics. So Maria and I surveyed 15 tactics, and don't start having heart palpitations. You don't have to worry because you do not have to try all 15. Member on engagement programs with about 3 to 5 tactics should be your focus. So eventually you want to work your way up to have about 3 to 5 tactics. Now, as you look through this list, what we did is we compared the results from 4 years ago to the results today. So you can see how some tactics are growing and how some tactics are not. And what we found is there are definitely tactics that are new and growing, like emails, online communities, virtual orientation events, new member ambassador programs. And there are some tactics that are declining in overall usage and also effectiveness, like welcome kits and letters. Now, some tactics work better for trade associations, and some tactics work better for professional associations, and vice versa. Associations also adapt each tactic by the size of their organization too. And I am really, really excited because for the first time this year, we were able to report on how tactics are used by type, size, and reach of associations. And you can see all of the breakouts in the report. We had, as Maria said in the beginning, 307 respondents. So more than twice what we had the first time. And so now we can kind of get in there and slice and dice the data very, very finely. And I'm super excited about that. But bottom line, eventually aim to have about 3 to 5 tactics in your onboarding program. But, there's always a but. But, and here's a third key to success: start slow. Implement really slowly. Let your staff, let leadership, let the board know that it can take 2 to 3 years for a program to get off the ground and produce really good results. So take the time to try one thing at a time, revise until you get a hit. And so let me do one of those quick sum ups. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in the chat for you. So there's 3 strategies for onboarding program success: diversify your tactics, revise your program often, and start slow. But I have a question for you, because I think these 3 strategies can be really difficult. And so I have a question. And again, I would love for you to click on this link and open a new tab in Mentimeter and vote. So we've got these 3 strategies. And what I would like to know is which of these 3 keys to success feels like it might be the most difficult to implement or stay on top of. What do you think? What is the most difficult to implement or stay on top of? So this is going to keep changing around as you're all voting. So I'm going to give you, I don't know, maybe 15 seconds more to go ahead and vote. I would love to see where you're ending up in this. Maybe 30 seconds. Just keep voting. I think the vote right now is for revising your program often. So the most difficult strategy that of the 3 success strategies for associations to implement is revising your program often. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to bubble up in the chat the wisdom of this community and do a quick group brainstorm. So I'm throwing a question here for you in the chat. And my question is how do we make revising your program often easier for association leaders? What can we do to take those barriers away? What could you do to make it easier for you or your team to implement this strategy, which is revising your program often? How are there things that you could set up so that you're able to tweak it all the time, or that you're able to at least get in there twice a year and tinker with it until you've got some hits. So what do you think might help you? So I'd love to, again, just let your ideas pour through your fingers. What can we do to make revising your program often less difficult for association leaders? And I'd love to, I'm going to see, Ellen says a couple more hours in each day. I agree, Ellen. I don't know how to do that. I seem stuck with 24, but if you figure out how to get 26, let me know. Jane says more money, staff time. Let's see, what else do we have here? Set 3 to 4 meetings a year to review data and feedback. I like that. There was somebody said this in one of the qualitative interviews where they actually set aside days in their calendars that are non-negotiable to go back in and look at everything. Shelley says bake it into annual planning, which I think is somewhat similar to this. You're setting 3 to 4 meetings a year for this to happen. Committees responsible for generating ideas. A smaller team helps move projects faster. Meeting reminders, workflows that include monthly feedback. I love that. So it sounds like a lot of these ideas are how we can organize calendars and things. Dave has the technology to help automate and help drive better human interaction. Do fewer things better. So yeah, like Tim says, we don't have to do all 15 tactics, but maybe we really focus on just the welcome email for a couple of weeks, and then maybe we focus on, and then we get that to working really well, and then we focus on the next thing. Yes, I love all of these ideas. Okay. So I think one of the things that I'm going to invite you to do, and I think I might have already said it already, is we've enabled you to save the chat. And so I'll try to remember to remind you at the end and remind myself, but feel free to save the chat. And if you feel like revising your program often is going to be tough on you or tough for your association, feel free to dip into this wonderful list that you've all collaboratively made together and see if there's a solution that works for you or your team or your association. And again, you're welcome to save the chat anytime and capture these ideas so you can use them later. So let's turn our attention to the future of new member onboarding. How are these programs changing? One of the things that I love about doing this research again after a couple of years is we can see how things are changing, see how things are progressing. And I felt like there was this very new and unexpected through line in the data that we collected, and it's this. In 4 short years, associations have been evolving their new member onboarding programs a lot. 4 years ago, new member onboarding tactics were often by necessity. There were mass communications. They were static, meaning they didn't change very much. And they focused on giving members tours of their organization's benefits. Now, today, we're seeing onboarding programs starting to shift their focus away from mass communications and toward individual communications. Associations are leveraging their set of tactics in a way that is extremely personalized. They're creating connection between members and members, but also members and association staff. And they're leveraging their tactics in a way that is responsible to members' individual needs. Now, I think some tactics are more, it's easier to do this kind of thing with, to be, more responsive and more personalized and create more attention. I think maybe that's why we're seeing things like welcome kits wane, and maybe like a welcome kit letter is waning, and organizations are leaning into tactics where they can do this kind of stuff. So I just put one of those little sum ups, focus on these one-to-one communications, create connections, and be responsive to members' individual needs. Now, if you are a large association, you might be saying, "Oh, this blows my mind. How do I reach members one-to-one when people are joining at such a rapid velocity?" So let's kind of talk about that. Even if you're a small association, resources become an issue. So how do we leverage people, and how do we leverage technology to make this happen? So I feel like in the data, what we saw was This personalized concierge service is something that many small associations are really excelling at. They have been excelling at it, and we're going to see them leaning hard into this trend. At the same time, medium-sized and very large associations want to very much to do this as well, but because of volume, they have to do it very differently. So we see large associations leveraging technology, and also when they think about leveraging people, they're talking to their chapters, they're talking to their affiliates, they're working with their special interest groups and trying to get them to do onboarding activities as well so that they can welcome members individually. Let me give you some more examples about how this is playing out and what we saw in the data that came. So here are a couple of examples. So one example is found in the online community world. Online community hosts are welcoming new members to the community by name. So you might see a post like, "Welcome Stephanie, Rennie, and Devin to our community. We'd love to learn more about you, so please introduce yourself." Now, these community managers are also creating a culture where people respond to new members and get to know them, and there's this nice dialogue. So there's a lot to unpack here, but we're seeing some of this. Another great example is with welcome webinars. So 4 years ago, welcome webinars were a lecture with slides with very little to no interaction with attendees. They might have even been pre-recorded. Today, associations are starting to transition their welcome webinars to virtual orientation events. And these events may not even have PowerPoint slides at all. Instead, the moderator asks questions of the participants and tailors the information to the attendees' responses. By the way, virtual orientation events are the tactic most of our 307 respondents want to try. So we asked some special guests to do a deep dive with you, and I'm going to introduce them in just a moment. So we call today's event a launch party for 2 reasons. The first reason is you all kept asking for a new member engagement study reboot. We heard you, Marie and I did, and we did it. And so because this was so much a community effort, it felt like we should have a community celebration. And we invited some friends to join us to the party to do a deep dive on 2 tactics that are ridiculously important to many associations' onboarding plans. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to just imagine you're at a party at your best friend's home and that you've sampled some of the appetizers, and now you're deciding where you want to go and who you want to meet next. There are some folks outside in the swimming pool having a good time, and there's others in the living room dancing, and there's a philosophical conversation going on in the kitchen. In the same way, in a few minutes, you get to pick where you're going next. So let me show you how to navigate there. So I'm gonna show you the spaces, Matchbox spaces where you all came in at. This is probably looking a little familiar. We're right here in the opening keynote. If you scroll down a little bit, you're going to see concurrent breakout discussions, which is where we are next. I don't want you to click on any of those. Don't go there yet. We're not there yet. But let me explain to you what's happening in each room so that you can make a really good informed decision. In the first breakout room, Kara Potter with the Missouri State Teachers Association is going to share how they are very successfully leveraging email. And I'm super excited about this because nearly every association uses email to engage new members, but it is not as effective a communication channel as we want or need it to be. The amazing Dave Will is going to be with Kara to co-facilitate. In the second breakout room, the Captivating Orientation Events room, we have Marie Herring with Work on Climate. She's going to share how they're using virtual orientation events to onboard. And I'm super excited about this breakout because the data are pointing toward this tactic becoming far more influential in the future. The spectacular Ariana Riak will be with Marie to co-facilitate. Now, in both of these first 2 breakout sessions, Kara and Marie are going to take a few minutes to share how their program works. They're going to talk about what they learned. They're going to talk about their plans for the future. And then they're going to open up the floor for you to ask questions and for a conversation to start. So you're welcome to do whatever in that space. Ask them questions, toss ideas around, listen, brainstorm, have fun. So that's what those 2 breakouts are for. In the third room, Maria McDonald, my partner from Dynamic Benchmarking, the wonderful woman who introduced me. She and I are going to be heading there, and the format is a bit different than the first two breakouts. This is your opportunity to ask us questions. If you have questions about the study, or how to start a program, or want ideas for where to take your program in the future, or you just want to stop in and say hi and see us, this particular breakout will be very, very casual, very much Q&A format. We do not have any planned speeches or anything like that. So that's a Q&A. Now, if you run into any tech problems moving to your breakout or moving between breakouts, pop a question in the chat. So on the right-hand side, you see event chat. You can pop your question into event chat. There's somebody monitoring that. One of the great staff at Matchbox, they're monitoring that, and they'll get you where you need to go. Now, once this live event is over, you do not need to leave. This is not closing time. I encourage you to check out the challenge questions. So I'm going to open up one right now. So you open up the tile, click into the Post-it note, and we've asked 3 different challenge questions. And it's really, really interesting to go ahead and read the question, read other people's notes, post your own ideas. It really kind of gets the juices flowing as you're thinking about your programs. I love seeing what everybody else is saying. Let me head back in here because we also have put in for you resources, the links to download the study, additional new member engagement resources. So there's great ebook from PropFuel. You got to check that out. And then Maria talked a little bit about my new book. So I got a book publishing Valentine's Day of 2023. So I'm within the 90-day to publish period. If you want to know more about that, you can head on over to that page. I also really encourage you to pop in and check out the information on dynamic benchmarking, PropFuel, and Matchbox Virtual Media. Without their partnership and sponsorship, we could not have brought you all of these great insights. So I really appreciate them, and please do check them out. So thank you for coming to the first half of our party. Go ahead and pick your flavor of choice, whichever breakout you would like to go to, and head there. We will see you in the next room. We'll see you there. Goodbye. Thank you.